Steve Jobs. 1976, Apple Computer Company is founded on April 1 by Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne, who sold his shares shortly after. Wozniak designs and assembles by hand the Apple I, a naked motherboard focused on hobbyists of the Homebrew Computer Club. Some 200 units were sold, a modest but crucial success to validate the idea. 1977, launch of the Apple II, the first personal computer with color graphics design, which included a plastic housing and an integrated keyboard, made it accessible. It was a massive sales success thanks to VisiCalc, the first spreadsheet, which made it an essential tool for business. 1980, Apple goes public, generating more millionaires than any other company in history up to that point. It was a financial milestone, but technically the Apple III was a resounding failure due to overheating problems and a defective design that Jobs imposed without fans. 1983, the Apple Lisa is launched. It was the first commercial personal computer with a graphical user interface, UI and mouse. Although a monumental technical advance, it was a total commercial failure due to its exorbitant price. Apple hires John Sculley as CEO, famous for Jobs. Question: do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life? 1984. Launch of the Macintosh 128T. Its interface based on icons and windows. Popularized by the legendary 1984 ad of the Super Bowl, redefined computing. Although initial sales were good, its limited memory and lack of software caused the initial enthusiasm to quickly fade. 1985. A critical year, tensions between Steve Jobs and John Sculley erupts. The board of directors takes Sculley's side, and Steve Jobs is expelled from Apple. Jobs founded Next, a company focused on high-end computers for education and science, whose software would be, ironically, Apple's salvation years later. 1987. The Macintosh 2 appears. It was the first modular Mac with a color display. Its commercial success among designers and professionals consolidated the Mac as the reference platform for self-publishing and graphic design. 1991, 2000, innovation in the dark and the return of the founder. Steve Jobs. 1991, the PowerBook 100 series is introduced. Apple invents the modern laptop by placing the keyboard backwards and adding a central trackball, an ergonomic design that defined the industry. It becomes an instant sales success, showing that Apple still had the capacity for practical innovation. 1993. Launch of the Newton Message Pad. It was the first personal digital assistant with writing recognition. Although technically advanced, it was a commercial and critical failure for its impressive software and its high price. becoming the target of jokes in popular culture, as in The Simpsons 1994, Apple begins the transition from Motorola 68,000 processor to RISC architecture with the PowerPC. It was a bold technical move to compete with Intel's performance, but it fragmented the software ecosystem and confused users for years. 1996, the company is weeks away from bankruptcy. The classic operating system, System 7, is obsolete and the project to replace it. Copland has failed in a twist of fate. Apple decides to buy Next for $429 million, which means the return of Steve Jobs to the company as an advisor. 1997, Steve Jobs orchestrates an internal coup d'etat, expelling CEO Gil Amelio and becoming an interim CEO. Start a radical purge of products and equipment. In a pragmatic and much criticized decision, Jobs announces an alliance with his archenemy Microsoft, which includes an investment in up to $50 million in the commitment to maintain Office for Mac. 1998, launch of the iMac G3 with its translucent Fondite Blue design. Jobs eliminated the floppy drive and all old ports in favor of USB. It was a bet of design and radical simplicity that became an absolute cultural and commercial success, financially saving the company. 1999, the iBook with airport technology is launched. Apple was the first company to integrate Wi-Fi connectivity in a simple and massive way into a consumer laptop, redefining mobility. 2000. Steve Jobs is appointed permanent CEO. The first public beta version of Mac OS X, based on the Unix core of NextX, is released. The new operating system promised industrial stability and real multitasking, laying the foundations for Apple's modern software. 2001. 2010, the era of the iPod, the iPhone, and the mobile domain.